This one is a standalone video that I wanted to do specifically on the subject of implants. So many of you out there have already contacted us regarding this particular subject. Implants, much like electronic harassment or any of the other esoteric things that I've talked about today, are absolutely real. They were actually first devised by the Soviet Union and their counterintelligence service, the KGB, back in the late 60s. This was a technology that we actually inherited, much like we did rocket technology and the designs for our highways and everything else from the Germans. This is no different. Now, implants in and of themselves are a reality. They may not be as widespread as some sensationalistic sites or blogs would have you believe, but they do exist. They are real. They are out there, and we have had some experience with them in the years that I've been here. Some of the implants are of the older variety. They're basically made of titanium, no larger than basically a grain of rice, and they do seem to be powered bioetherically. Now, what I mean by that is that they actually have figured out a way to tap into the power that is generated by your body and can actually use the power to ride it like a wave to keep transmitting. Now, the capabilities about these implants are arguable. Some people say that they can induce mind control or motor control over physical bodies. Some people say that they can actually communicate or draw thoughts out of people's minds. These are all things that are still up in the air for us. We don't have any conclusion about them. But one thing that we do know is that someone with an implant can be influenced through pain, basically, again, through nerve induction. This ability seems to be latent in the implants themselves. And as years have gone on, we have started to see some new varieties of these. Now, the original ones, as I mentioned previously, were titanium. They were small steel pellets, basically, that are powered by the body and would stay stationary, usually at a subdermal level, 1 or 2 inches below the top layer of skin, and usually in fatty tissue. The back of someone's foot, the back of their arm, basically in their back by their scapula, places where there aren't a lot of nerves where you're not going to feel them, and where they basically wouldn't be easily detectable. But as time has gone on, we've seen several different varieties of them. As of most recently, within the last 2 years, I've come across several cases that have documented not just metal implants, but new ones, new models, porcelain ones. This basically makes it a little harder to detect them because they do not, even though they're still giving off a radio frequency that can be traced, they are absorbent to heat, so you can no longer use thermal cameras to find them. They're not made of metal, so you can no longer use metal detectors to locate them. They're a little more slippery. They seem to have some added capabilities, such as changing people's body temperature or inducing sleep or depriving sleep, messing with people's ability to eat, sometimes making them gorge eat. There's been a lot of disturbing trends with these new ones. Now, I've only come across 2 cases where the porcelain ones were actually removed from someone. Neither one of them were mine. They came to us through colleagues. But the fact that they were willing to share this data that they got from these new implants is basically the basis of the fact of why I'm talking to you today. I get a lot of calls, a lot of emails about people who think that they may have been, quote unquote, chipped or implanted. We have come across them in isolated cases over the years, but they are few and far between. I cannot lie about that. Now, sometimes people who believe that they've been implanted may be experiencing actual electronic harassment, some of the symptoms that I named in the other videos. But in the rarest of cases, they are absolutely correct. And during those times, that's when we do our best to find a MD, or a surgeon who is open-minded enough to actually entertain the idea that somebody has something foreign implanted in them that they never requested to be put there. There was a gentleman in Oklahoma who, for many years, some of you may know exactly what I'm talking about, whose name was Dr. Robert Lear. Dr. Lear was based in Oklahoma City, and he was very big in the TI community, but also in the UFO abduction community. Now, Dr. Lear documented more than 30 different varieties of implants that he had taken out over a 25-year career. Some of these implants looked like they may have been implanted by foreign agents. Some of them looked like they may have been manufactured and implanted by our own people here in the this data that they got from these new implants is basically the basis of the fact of why I'm talking to you today.